Good afternoon, everybody watching today here live at the waterhole in Old Donyo over in Kenya. We have some beautiful big elephant bulls that have come down to the watering hole to join us for a nice splish splash and a bit of a swim. So my name is Kerry Dupree and I will be joining you today for live at the waterhole. Looking forward to seeing what excitement comes up for the day. So just a reminder, folks, if you are joining us, just join in the conversation. Please feel free to head across to our Twitter or X or our YouTube channel. Use the hashtag @WildEarth, or you can always scan the QR code on screen if you want to chat with us or join in the conversation. Love to hear from you, how your week is going, what you're hoping to see today on Live at the Waterhole. I am on a big birding mission this week, so I will be doing a bird list every day this week on Live at the Waterhole. So trying to see how many birds we can get, learn about some of the bird life at some of our different locations. Obviously, our mammal characters are a big part. Oh, sorry, folks. Looks like we had a little bit of challenge on our camera over in Old Donyo, so our signal can be a little bit unstable. But we're over in Namibia at one of our new locations. Beautiful waterhole here, a bit of wind, and a nice oryx that is also down at the watering hole. So let's see what else is out there, what birds we can get today. I'll be dying to hear from our viewers to see what birds you have also managed to help me spot today. I might throw in a few bird sound IDs. And of course, if there's any other birds that our viewers have picked up on that I might have missed, please feel free to send it through their names in the comment section. Just having a look, it looks very dry over in Namibia. Early at Okakuyu, it did look like there was a little bit of kind of cloud around. So I know some regions might be experiencing some rainfall, definitely in southern Africa. We had a little bit of a drizzle here in Joburg over the last half an hour. Other regions in Africa are starting to brew up some storms for the rainy season. Alrighty, folks. Let's head over to Hyena Pan. There was a lot of activity yesterday, so let's see what we can catch at Hyena Pan over in Botswana. So we were just here at Hyena Pan before the show started. We had some nice big elephant bulls that were all congregating underneath the shady mopani trees, or huddling up, just enjoying a bit of a Tuesday afternoon siesta. Obviously, the heat has gotten to a few of the bulls, and nothing better than a nice mud bath on a hot summer's day in Botswana. So just a bit of an update. If you were watching yesterday, we did have a old cow elephant that was here at Hyena Pan. Shame. She was not looking like she was in the greatest of conditions. Shame she almost got stuck in the pan itself. We thought that, she had even, got stuck and died in the pan. But all's well that ends well, and she managed to actually get herself up and out of the pan. And when we ended the show yesterday, she was kind of still roaming around trying to feed a little bit. So very good news. We haven't seen her today, so hopefully that means that she has managed to continue her meander and start feeding in other areas, making her way to another watering hole. So very exciting news that elephant managed to survive another day. Right, so we had a spurfowl calling just now. So to start off our birding list for the day, I think it was a Swenson's spurfowl that was calling just a moment ago. And we also have another water bird that's just kind of on the edge of the water there. I did see blacksmith plovers here yesterday. So let's see what birds we can pick up here at Hyena Pan. Oh, looks like, what is that? Catherine, thank you for joining us today. Yeah, definitely excited to see how many birds we can get onto our list. So we've got a spurfowl that was calling in the distance in the background, probably a red-necked spurfowl. We're gonna also see, I hope we can hear any Cape starlings. We had some Cape starlings yesterday. So we'll just have a pan around all of our locations today, be on a very wide alert to see if we can have as many birds on our list as possible. Goodness, this elephant bull is having the best time. Very lethargic in the water there. Heard some arrow-marked babblers also calling. You can hear the tweet, 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 tweet. Little blue waxbills, very common blue waxbills. Lovely to see them at a watering hole as well. They definitely have to be careful of cats in gardens. I know cats do love catching these little blue waxbills. If you have a cat at home, I'm sure you understand the struggles of having a feline in the house. So there's these elephants I spoke about. To see these elephant bulls all kind of standing and congregating together underneath the semi-shade of these beautiful mopani trees. I must say, there's no better smell in the bush than that of a mopani tree. So they've got beautiful, almost butterfly-shaped leaves. So that's a bifoliate leaf structure. And yeah, take those leaves and give it a bit of a crush, and gives a really awesome smell. I do love the mopani trees. I've never seen as many mopani trees as I have here around Hyena Pan in Botswana, in the Moremi area. Very well known for their mopani forests. So Sanjeev is asking about this elephant that's in the water. So no, I think this is a bull. We saw him lifting up his head just now. So it's a big bull. He's probably just having a chill. Shame, looks like these summer days are very long in the dry season. So he's got some tusks, and also our female elephant from yesterday, she had no tail and also looked like she'd had a piece of her trunk that was missing. Shame, she definitely looked like she had had a rough life, that old cow from yesterday. Yep, there we go. He's all right. He's just having a bit of a lazy Tuesday afternoon. So welcome to some of our other viewers that have just joined us, Joanne Mello and Kim Faustino. Thank you for joining us today. Shucks, 6:30 p.m. in the Philippines. Kim, thank you for joining us and taking the time to just watch nature and enjoy live at the waterhole with us today. So just before we started the show, we did actually have a young hyena that was here at Hyena Pan. So we're hoping he might come back for a drink. Of course, as per usual, the wildlife, I'm sure they know when that live signal gets called, and they disappeared. So yeah, he was here briefly just before we started the show, a little hyena at Hyena Pan, which is pretty epic. So fingers crossed that he comes back to join us, be part of the show. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that Hyena Pan, they do have a lot of hyena dens close by this camp, and that's where it gets its name from, Hyena Pan, and also why they have such a high hyena population. All right, so we did have an African jacana that flew across the screen quickly by the elephant, and I have a blacksmith plover just to the left of this tree. But we have some egrets and herons also at Tower Lodge, I believe. So let's go to one of our other locations and see what other birds we can tick off our list for the day. Oh, actually, our hyena. Check, check, check. He came back. How exciting. Hello, little guy. Oh, I am so excited. So this is the same youngster that was here a couple of moments ago. Obviously wasn't quite finished with his swim. So yeah, awesome to see him, and we're just about to link away and he's off. Does seem a bit nervous, I must say. Maybe there's some other elephant chasing him. I'd also be nervous if I had an elephant chasing me. So yeah. Oh wow, check, we have a heron here, folks. Don't know if any of our viewers maybe want to give it a bash and see if they can identify this heron. I'll give you a bit of time. I think I have an idea which heron it is. But if you want to help me with an identification, I'm sending out a question to all of our viewers to see if anyone has any idea which heron this is. So also, again, we saw some cool herons earlier just before we started the show. So I thought Tower Lodge looks like it's going to be a good birding day. So please scan the QR code on the screen now. Don't forget to use the @WildEarth hashtag to send through your suggestions on which heron this could be. And it's actually my first time seeing this heron at Tower Lodge. It's one of the herons. Pretty cool. Look how beautiful he is with that crest of his, bright red eye. It does look kind of similar to a slaty heron. So if you were not paying attention, it could look quite similar to a slaty heron. They do occur generally in flocks from time to time, but I've only ever seen them in smaller groups, so individuals or maybe a pair. And they do have quite interesting habitats, so they do form kind of a canopy. Would you like to hang out under the canopy just above the water? And while they hunt, they will actually have a similar hunting strategy to that of the night heron, so forming a bit of a dark cave over their head. So they kind of swoosh their wings across their face, form a dark shadow across the water in order to see the fish while they're moving through the water. Really cool bird to add to our list today. Of course, we've got a blacksmith plover here as well, coming to join in the birding party. So I've got a call of this heron, which I'll play for you from my Newman's Birding app. So just have a bit of a listen to the call of this heron. Here we go. All right, so while we wait for our comments to come through about this heron, we have got some cattle egrets here that are also enjoying the sunshine on this sunny Tuesday afternoon, giving themselves a bit of a groom. As you can see, they're sort of in their breeding plumage, these herons. Got a bit of a brown tinge to the top of their head, as well as on the back of their wings there. So kind of heading into their breeding plumage, these cattle egrets, western cattle egret. They do eat quite an array of food, but yeah, including scorpions actually. So they'll eat scorpions, smaller birds, as well as fish, small invertebrates, tadpoles. Yeah, so they have quite a varied diet. Pretty cool. It is kind of one of the smaller of the herons and egrets. Very short legs, much thicker neck, as well as black feet. So they do flock in varying sizes. So you can find anything from 2 to 50, 60 herons altogether. I've once seen a flock of 60 herons that these cattle egrets that came through our camp once. No idea what their plan was, but yeah, they do often follow livestock or buffaloes to catch the flying insects that might be disturbed. While we're on our heron mission, we also have a grey heron here. Awesome to add another heron to our list. We did get this grey heron yesterday. I've seen him quite a lot here at Tower Lodge and used it into the week. So thank you, Catherine, for your answer about the bird the heron that we were trying to identify. That is definitely a black-crowned night heron. So you are very excited to add a new list to my bird list for Tower Lodge. So yeah, pretty epic. 3 awesome herons that we've just got here. The cattle egret, black-crowned night heron, and of course, grey heron. Oop, looks like we have a hardy-dar. Oh, 2 hardy-dars feeding away, and the waterbuck, nice big male waterbuck coming to graze on the little bit of green grass that is at the water's edge. Those hardy-dars have specially designed bills in order to probe into the very thick mud. So now they'll feed on kind of grubs and worms in this thick, muddy, sandy area. Oh, isn't this male waterbuck beautiful? You can see he's also been in the mud. So these hardy-dars are quite common bird to find within southern Africa. I've even seen them in West Africa before. They are literally everywhere, and you can find them in urban areas. What is that? Not sure what this thing is. Could be a bone, old bone or something. Oh, there's our crocodile. So I wonder how many crocodiles we still have left here at Tower Lodge. At some stage there was 3 big crocodiles. But obviously this crocodile looks like he's covered in mud. This pan is drying up quite quickly, so I don't think you should wait for too long before heading over to a new water source. So Ray, thank you for your question. So Ray is asking if oxpeckers are the only birds that clean mammals. So Ray, I've actually seen the red-winged starling grooming klipspringer. So yeah, no, oxpeckers are not the only birds that do groom animals. From time to time, obviously, you see the cattle egret sitting on the backs of buffalo, and you can also, I've seen them catching insects and also slightly grooming a buffalo too. I think there was just some insects on a buffalo's back, so he was just kind of feeding off of these insects. So yeah, there are a lot of birds that can help to remove the ectoparasites from mammals. This waterbuck is a bit unsure of something. Maybe there's a predator close by. We did have some ducks at the other end of the pan. Sure, these waterbuck are really nervous. Maybe there's a predator of some sort coming down for a drink. Having a look to see what these waterbuck are looking at. So we have a question from Martin R. is asking about endangered bird species like vultures and southern ground hornbills. How are they tracked? And do we know how many of them are left, the numbers? What are the populations? So Martin, there's an organization called BirdLife in Africa. So you get BirdLife Zimbabwe, BirdLife South Africa that are very good at monitoring these endangered species. And of course, a lot of projects that also work with protected and endangered species. So for the ground hornbills, Architect Mabula is the base of the Southern Ground Hornbill Project for Southern Africa. and they're the ones who also monitor these individuals and do the tagging as well as putting the rings on. So a lot of these birds are either ringed and also have tracking devices that some of them actually have solar panels. I know with vultures you can get these solar panel trackers that do operate to use as a tracking device for these vultures, or you can also get battery operated tracking devices that can help to track these individuals. And it's amazing to see the distances that these vultures can cover over such a short period of time, especially in the rainy season when there's not much food, or in the breeding season when they're traveling to new breeding areas. So, yeah, always a big thank you to these organizations like BirdLife, the Ground Hornbill Projects, or any other associations that do follow and record these endangered birds. So, yeah, it's very crucial to the kind of longevity of some of these bird species that they are, yeah, taken care of, and also that populations are monitored. So if you want to go and have a look at any of the numbers of these birds, you can go and have a look on the BirdLife website. They do have some of these figures available for you there, and are very good at tracking individuals. So apparently we're getting to some information from Catherine. Thank you for sending us through some information. So we did have a poor dead waterbuck, young waterbuck here yesterday, that was eaten by lions last night. So yeah, could be the lions are still around, and that's why these waterbuck are so aware and alert. Yeah, shame. It is the dry season at the moment in southern Africa, and a lot of animals are succumbing to the drought. Yeah, survival of the fittest, and not all of the animals out there can make it through this long dry season. So I'm guessing there could be some kitty cats hiding in the mountains there. Bundu is also sending us some information. Apparently, the lions were around this morning. A very nice, easy meal for them. I'm sure the lions, even at Tower Lodge, are rather plump with all the free food they're getting. So, yeah, it's pretty busy here today. Got some nice zebra, come down for a drink, wildebeest, our waterbuck, and we did have earlier some red hartebeest, which for me is always an epic sighting. I don't see red hartebeest often, so yeah, lovely to see some red hartebeest here at Tower Lodge. Oh, we've got a spurfowl there. Could be a red-necked spurfowl. Also going to have a look for our moorhens, our crakes, and I think we've got some yellow-billed ducks also in this pan as well. Some lovely rubbing post, warthog rubbing post there, all those dead fallen over trees. Perfect place for a warthog to go and have a good old scratch. A blacksmith plover also roaming around, looking for some insects, looking for his lunch. Oh, night heron seems to have disappeared somewhere. Like I said, pretty epic sighting of that black crowned night heron. It's my first time seeing one here at Tower Lodge. So yeah, really awesome bird sighting for the day. And of course, lovely to see our crocodiles out and about. Been pretty elusive. Again, not much water around here for them. So it's not always easy to see them. So waterbuck are definitely still very curious. Maybe we'll get a sighting of those lions. Could still be around. Did have some epic sighting of some lions on Sunday at Nguma over in Namibia, in Etosha. Yeah, we had 4 lionesses and 1 big male lion, so it's a great way to start a Sunday live at the waterhole. Hopefully, if we're lucky, we'll just get a lion today. Would be pretty cool. We also had a jackal over in Nguma yesterday. And there was a jackal roaming around at Tower Lodge, probably chasing after some scraps left by the lions from that water buck. Alrighty, folks, why don't we head over to Tembo Elephant Park, see if we can pick some more birds off of our list. Awesome sound to hear that Deirdre's cuckoo calling again. So we had the Deirdre's cuckoo yesterday. Thank you for helping me with the call. Yeah, we had a bit of a quiz yesterday on the Deirdre's cuckoo. So it seems like he is still around. Again, the brood parasite, the Deirdre's cuckoo, and intra-African migrant. So it's definitely a sign that the rains are coming. What a lovely big male elephant just passed by here. Incredible tusks. We have got a little three-banded plover up to the right-hand side of the screen, just digging around in some elephant dung, our hardy-dars, and of course a African jacana. You can hear those European bee-eaters calling overhead, and lovely to see our woolly neck storks are back at the pan. See woolly neck storks. As well as some white-faced whistling ducks, and our floppy-eared elephant friend is also back. So I've seen this floppy-eared elephant bull here quite a few times at this watering hole. So often elephants will frequent the same pans within an area. Yeah, kind of, especially seeing as this area seems to be very rich in food, lots of food for all the elephants. So he's definitely a regular around here. Alrighty, folks, why don't we head across to Safari Hook and see what other birds we can get off of our list. So we have some laughing doves that have come down for a little bit of a drink. Oh, I love walking around pans. I think it's one of my favorite things to do in the bush while on a bushwalk. So walk around pans like this and check for fresh tracks, read the morning bush newspaper, see what else is happening out there. So yeah, lovely to see these two little laughing doves coming in at number 14 on our list for the day. Very healthy population. They're quite red in color, very dark. Maybe we get some Namakwa doves. It's also a great time for Namakwa doves and emerald spotted doves to come down for a drink. So a lot of the dove species, you find them frequenting waterholes quite often within a day. Sometimes the doves can come down to drink at least 3 to 4 times a day, but middle of the day I do find it does pick up with the bird life, and especially dove species coming down to drink, like Cape turtle doves, Namakwa doves, emerald spotted wood doves, and of course our beautiful laughing doves. Oh, there we go. Here's our Namakwa doves here. How cool, we were just speaking about them. Love these Namakwa doves, really beautiful for a photo. So yeah, when they do open up their wing a little bit, they have a bit of a burgundy red patch on the inner side of their wing. This looks like a female. Oh, there we go. This is a female, and the one we saw flying across the screen with that burgundy color was a beautiful male. So they do have to be careful of larger predatory birds swooping down and catching them in the heat of the day, like a sparrowhawk or a little lizard buzzard or a shikra. Definitely love to snack on a little dove. See the male, the mako dove there, a lot more dark black coloration on his face, and he has almost like a pinky orange beak. Lovely to see the males and females together. So quite a large sexual dimorphism between the two different sexes, the male and the female. And this is a juvenile male. You can see he hasn't quite got all his adult colors just yet. Almost looks like the bills are a little candy cane of some sort, like a little kid's sweet, bright yellow and pink. Also have a big elephant bull. Also looks like he came down for a drink. Lovely to see some warthogs maybe, also coming for a swim. Got some more blacksmith plovers there, and our oryx doesn't look like he's moved very far. You can see these blacksmiths are hiding in the shade of the tree. Blacksmith lapwings. And they get their name from the interesting vocalization that they make that almost sounds like a blacksmith tinkering away with a hammer. I'll play his call for you. Alrighty, folks, let's head back to Hyena Pan and see what action is happening over in Botswana. Hyena Pan. Oh goodness, looks like the elephants have arrived for their lunchtime drink. And looks like we've got a tiny little baby elephant in there. Isn't he cute? Oh my goodness, I hope this elephant doesn't get stuck in the water trough, otherwise there'll be a little bit of distress amongst the family. Isn't this baby elephant adorable? There's quite a few little babies here, and they do get stuck in water troughs quite often. You really need to be careful, this little guy. He's actually putting his mouth right into the water and drinking straight from his mouth rather than from his trunk. Shane looks like he's got a few leaves on his back there. Oh, oh, cute. So I know they also had a really amazing sighting this morning of a baby elephant in Juma. So yeah, awesome to see the little baby elephant, almost pink in color as well in Juma. Really cool sighting. Oh, check out this little guy. So yeah, a lot of the baby elephants, when they're still really young, within their first couple of days, they still have almost like a pink tinge to them before they start becoming a bit darker gray in coloration. The baby elephants are always a delight to watch. So just have a bit of a quiet moment here while we listen to these elephants drinking. Sorry, folks. Looks like we had some challenges with our camera there at Hyena Pad. So we're back here at Tembe Elephant Park. Just admiring this beautiful scenery. Lots of clouds building up at Tembe. Wouldn't be surprised if they've had some rain, and are probably going to receive some more rain. We've got a male Nyala that's joining us for a drink, and of course our big elephant bulls that are chilling underneath their favorite sandy patch in the shade. Looks like we have a bit of a flock of white-faced whistling ducks that have joined us. Yesterday, I think we had at least 4. Today, it looks like we have probably 6. So they generally hang out in pairs, but can congregate in big flocks up to 20, 30 individuals all in one area if there's enough water source. So definitely one of my favorite of all the duck species. They have one of my favorite bird calls. I will play for you now. So this is a call of the white-faced whistling ducks, which we were listening to yesterday. There's our little hardy-dar ibis friend giving himself a bit of a groom. So when you are possibly on a boat cruise on the river or kind of in southern Africa and you see white-faced whistling ducks, you must definitely have a closer look because there's another duck, the fulvous whistling duck, which is very similar to the white-faced whistling duck and is often confused with each other. So definitely have a look. Very cool looking duck. Very similar to the white-faced whistling duck or a juvenile white-faced whistling duck. So always make sure, double check exactly which bird we can see. Here's our floppy-eared elephant friend, and we have our Egyptian geese that are also hanging around by the waterhole today. Sometimes, if we're lucky, we do have a pied kingfisher that likes to hang out on these lower branches here and make a bit of a kill. Hunt for some fish, but I don't see him today. If we're lucky, we'll also get our masked weavers. Can't decipher whether this is a branch. What is that? Lovely to see this male Nyala coming down for a drink. Oop, some female Nyalas as well. Lovely female Nyalas also coming down to enjoy a bit of a midday drink from the watering hole. Sometimes, if we're lucky, we have our brown-hooded kingfisher that likes to hang out in these acacia trees, as well as our little bee-eaters. A pair of little bee-eaters, but sometimes we catch them on the edge of this fallen down acacia tree here. Alrighty, so we've got a question from Rosie Adams about critically endangered bird species. Let's just head over to Tower Lodge. We've got some yellow-billed ducks. We'll check those out, and then I will answer Rosie Adams' question about endangered bird life. What a lovely sighting. Some yellow-billed ducks. They've also been hanging out here at Tower Lodge for a few weeks now. Do love that contrast of the brown with the yellow that they have on their bills, so a male and female. So they are a very common resident, most prominent feature for identification, obviously that bright yellow bill of theirs with a black central patch. Oh, sorry, folks. So yeah, beautiful to see these two yellow-billed ducks. They normally in pairs or flocks and occur in various open waters as well as estuaries, lakes, dams, and flooded water areas. Let's see if he's going to show off his beautiful yellow bill. Alrighty, so Rosie Adams was asking a question about endangered bird species in Africa. So yeah, there are quite a few bird species that are very vulnerable. Blue cranes are quite a vulnerable bird species in Africa. Obviously, the penguins as well as many vulture species. So it's awesome to really important to have all these organizations that monitor and kind of try to protect these bird species. I know obviously the blue crane, there's a lot of blue crane projects in KwaZulu-Natal that not just for blue cranes, but blue cranes as well as vultures try to create vulture safe zones as well as safe breeding zones for the blue cranes. The African penguins, I know in Cape Town they have got their protected areas now where there's no longer any fishing that happens year round because they kind of had this protected area but only for a short period of the year. Now it is protected 24/7, so they constantly have protection within these regions for these specific bird species. So yeah, just having a scan, see if there's anything else out there. Oops. So yeah, we were talking about the ground hornbills earlier. So obviously, this ground hornbill is very much threatened by habitat loss, as well as they are very vulnerable to poisoning and kind of environmental factors. So yeah, great to have at Mabula. I'm sure if you've been watching the live safaris, you've heard a bit about the reintroduction project that they have going at Mabula. And they also actually monitor all the ground hornbill sightings and movements within southern Africa. So great to hear about these organizations that are following, monitoring, and also helping to protect these birds that are endangered. I think birds can be overlooked. So yeah, but they are a very important part of the environment as well as the circle of life. So just as every little creature, all the way down to the smallest little insect and fly, play a crucial role in our ecosystem, we also need the birds in order to fulfill their role in the circle of life. So I do love how these yellow-billed ducks, same as with most duck species, they'll kind of tuck their bill underneath their feathers between their wings and just have a nap. So these yellow-billed ducks do become prey to bigger birds of prey like the African fish eagle. I've seen fish eagles catching yellow-billed ducks before. So you do need to keep a lookout. Oh, here's our common moorhens also come to join the birding party today. Isn't he pretty? So there is a pair of common, I think I've seen 3 common moorhens here before at Tower Lodge, and 1 or 2 black crakes from time to time do show themselves. So we're currently sitting on 18 birds at the moment. I think my record for my birding list of the day on Live at the Waterhole is a 35 birds. So I'm trying to get as close to 40 birds as possible for a day on Live at the Waterhole. We did pretty well yesterday. We came in at 27. Lots of really cool birds there too. We got a Cory busted yesterday, which was probably the highlight of my birding day yesterday, and so far the highlight of our birding day today, I definitely would have to say, is that black crowned night heron. So yeah, great birding. Awesome to learn a bit more about our environment by studying the birds. And this moorhen's just busy feeding away. Supposed to have bright yellow legs, but obviously with the high mud concentration around this pan, you can no longer see his bright yellow legs. Do find these moorhens quite frequently at dams, pans, and quiet river sources. So you generally won't find them in bigger rivers. Generally, just like smaller pans and areas with a lot more quiet, not as busy with bird life. And looks like we've got our little black crake, another bird to add to the list. Another one of my favorite water birds, a black crake. You can see those bright red legs, his bright yellow bill, and of course his black, pitch black color of his feathers. They're quite cool little birds. They don't stand still for too long. They're always moving around, bobbing their tail as they feed. So Spasiankov, thank you for your comment. Yep, 19 birds, 18, 19 birds for today. 19 being our little black crake. But yeah, the day is still young. We still have a lot of other locations to check out. I'm sure we'll do pretty well today as well. So yeah, should have a great birding day the last couple of days. And I do encourage you, if you are interested in birding, you want to get into birding, bird lassoing, or if you log into your eBird, it's a very good way as civilians to contribute towards science. So a lot of these applications that you use for recording bird lists, it is very important for a lot of scientists around the world that use that information to have an idea on home ranges, distributions on birds, and yeah, of course, eBird works in conjunction with eBird and Merlin work in conjunction with Cornell University. So all that information is kind of a civilian science tool that is used to help understand bird life better. Looks like we've still got our cattle egrets and our grey heron haven't moved much, but our night heron, he seems to have disappeared. Crocodile's still around. Looks like he's gone a little bit further into the mud, so it's quite a sticky time for these crocodiles. I imagine it's quite difficult for them to move around. It's very thick mud with those short legs of theirs. Very fascinating reptiles, these crocodiles, with their unique adaptation that allows them to be able to survive for such long periods since the dinosaur era. Dinosaurs have been on this earth for a very long time, over 200 million years, and they've obviously survived quite a lot in their time. Got that very powerful bite, which is one of their main hunting methods. They use that very strong bite of theirs and that biting force in order to capture their prey and hold their prey underwater. So about 3,000 to 3,700 psi is the powerful biting force that the crocodiles use in order to hold their prey underwater. Quite an interesting digestive system as well. So they are able to digest hooves, bones, and horns. So they have quite a high acidic level in their stomach, which allows them to swallow their prey whole, and the acid within their stomach digests their prey for them. Thought our waterbuck was spotting some lions earlier. They definitely, waterbuck were quite alert and aware. Maybe we'll see some lions coming down for a drink if they've been feeding on that dead waterbuck. I'm sure at some stage they'll get thirsty and come down for a bit of a drink. Whoop, a bit of a nervous zebra. All the wildlife does seem to be quite nervous around. I won't be surprised if those lions are nestled under a tree somewhere, escaping the heat of this summer day, just digesting their food. So again, if the water level was a little bit higher, a zebra would definitely have to be very wary of crocodiles sneaking up on them while they're having a drink. But because the water level is so low, chances of crocodile actually getting through this thick mud to a zebra to pull it down into the water would be pretty slim. But it was pretty cool. Yesterday here at Tower Lodge, we had a really weird sighting of a baby elephant that was swimming right next to one of these crocodiles. Obviously, he wasn't small enough to be considered prey to the crocodile, and with a big cow elephant close by, I wouldn't want to take my chances. But yeah, really, really strange sighting with a little baby elephant swimming right in front of a crocodile. Seeing another little bird bouncing around. What could it be? All right, so let's carry on our mission, see what else is on our other locations. Let's head over to Lentore and see what we can find. Has some hummercops. Two hummercops here, probably a male and a female. What birds do we have calling? We've got some birds calling here too. Oh, they have some pretty cool wax balls that sometimes come into this very thick brush down by the water to have a drink in safety. But yeah, always awesome to see these hummercop. We had a hummercop kill yesterday. Hummercops at Tower Lodge killed a frog. We managed to watch this hummercop trying to swallow this gigantic frog, so he had to beat it up quite a bit in order to be small enough to fit into down its throat. Sure, the hummercop does have some French descent because that is one of their preferred food types is a frog. So we do eat little fish, but frogs definitely seem to be a favored food for the hammerkop. I'm hearing some wax bills, but I'm not 100% sure on which wax bills it could be. Over in Lentori, Kenya, if we've got any Kenyan bird specialists that have any idea what wax bills are calling, please feel free to let us know. Hammerkop seem to be looking a bit like the deer in the headlights, caught in the act. Oh, what is that? What is that? Got some other movement just behind the hammerkops there, but I can't quite see what it is. Looks like a bird of some sort. Ooh, firefinches. Oh my goodness, looks like we have some, is that black-faced firefinch too? And of course we've got our go-away birds. So pretty cool to see those go-away birds. Here, those go-away birds calling. And it looks like we've got some firefinches here. Let's see which firefinch we have. Could be the red-billed firefinch, just checking the distribution. And we've got the black-faced waxbill. Oh, these birds are all coming down for a bit of a swim. We've also got some weavers in there. What a beautiful bird. Those black-faced waxbills are beautiful in color. We've got a little squirrel that's come to join us. Probably a little tree squirrel of some sort. Lots of bird activity here. What a beautiful little squirrel. Also coming down for a bit of a drink. I love how squirrels are very scampery. I love how they scamper from tree to tree. So Ian, thanks for your question about hammerkops. So hammerkops generally do mate for life, but if they lose a partner, then within a few years, if they manage to find another partner, they will definitely replace their partner. But yeah, they do generally tend to mate for life. This is cute. Let's watch this little squirrel having a drink. Joanne Miller, the squirrel is definitely very cute, I must say. Does need to be quite careful because he can be a very nice snack for a lot of predators. If we have any birding experts, I'm just checking up on our birds that we have here. So there's two different species of firefinches here. The one I'm going to guess is an African firefinch. It's got a lot of red, fully covered in red. There's another firefinch that is only partially red, which could be a red-billed firefinch. So if you have any birding experts, please feel free to send through your suggestions on which firefinches we have here. Definitely two different species. So we had the black-faced waxbill, and I'm going with African firefinch and possibly the red-billed firefinch. So waxbills and firefinches are always very good house birds. So if you have a bird bath at home, in most places I know in Africa, waxbills will always be a common species that do tame down quite well and will always keep your bird bath very busy. Lots of life and activity. I love firefinches and waxbills because they're very melodious. They always call when they're down by a water source. Perfect birding spot here. You could sit here for hours. Also a lovely spot for something like a serval or a caracal to come down for a drink. It's a nice shady water source, lots of cover. Oop, what do we have there? Could be a ring-necked dove. Sorry, folks, we had some challenges with our camera. So we've just come over to Cat-Eye Pan over in Olifants in South Africa. We've got a breeding herd of elephants that have come down for a midday drink at the watering hole. Looks like it's quite hot over in Olifants River area. Not too much cloud cover. So yeah, great to see these elephants having a drink. And we had some barn swallows that were kind of swooping down also to get a little bit of a drink while they fly over the water. Lovely to see those little baby elephants. We had 3 baby elephants earlier at Hyena Pan. Really, really cute to see them coming to drink. One of them was almost trying to climb inside the water trough, which is a terrible idea. Because when baby elephants get stuck in water troughs, yeah, it's quite a mission to get them out. But it is also quite cool to see how the whole herd comes together to try to get these elephants out of the trough. So yeah, it can usually be followed by lots of distress vocalizations from the elephants and baby. All he wanted was a good old swim. Oh, and we've got a tiny little baby elephant there. So again, elephant birthing periods and peak periods can differ from reserve to reserve and country to country. But I know lots of places in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, Botswana, and Zambia, there are a lot of little baby elephants being born at the moment, just before the rains come, which can be, yeah, a little bit of a dangerous time to be born at this time of year. Yeah, the rains are not quite here yet, and still a lot of water needed to provide food for all these elephants. But yeah, it is really special to see all these little baby elephants roaming around all over the show. Feeding, this elephant is feeding on an acacia tree over there. So obviously acacia trees are one of the elephant's main food preferences. But yeah, there's a lot of browse that elephants do feed on, and in the rainy seasons they actually prefer to feed on grass. It's a lot softer on their teeth, doesn't cause as much damage. And in some regions at this time of year, elephants will also make their way down to a water source, a river, any lakes and dams to also try and feed on any of the reed vegetation that's down there. It's also a lot softer on their teeth and reduces the wear and tear on those teeth. So elephants generally have 6 sets of teeth. In some very, very rare cases, they have been known to have a seventh set. So it almost works on a bit of a conveyor belt system whereby once the one set of teeth is worn out, it kind of shifts forward, falls out their mouth by the time the other set of teeth is coming up. And once they're on their last set of teeth, they do need to be very careful because generally in their 60s, so once an elephant hits about the age of 58 to 60 years of age, that's when they will be on their last set of teeth, or kind of their last set of teeth will be wearing down very low. So that's why it's difficult for them to feed on such hard vegetation at this time of year, because it is very hard on their teeth. So we had a long-tailed starling, or Neve's starling, that just walked past the elephant on the background there. Neve's starling, very cool, very iridescent, bright colored bird. Alrighty, folks, so for our bird list for the day, we are looking at 27 birds, which is the number I got yesterday. So we're hoping to beat our record from yesterday, see if we can get more than 27 birds. So please, if you can hear any birds or see any birds that I might miss, please feel free to send them through on a comment. Haven't seen any oxpeckers today. Seems like a bit of a resting time for these elephants. A shame during the heat of the day like now, it's a good time for the elephants to kind of just stand around and have a bit of time to rest. In the heat of the day, sometimes you can find elephants standing under beautiful shady acacia trees just resting up. A couple of hours. Oh, look at this little guy. All right, let's head over to one of our other locations and see at Safari Hook what birds have arrived. Oh my goodness, awesome to see a black stork here at Safari Hook in Namibia. It's a bit of a more rare stork species to see. I mean, we have had our woolly-necked storks over in Tembe Elephant Park, but it's been a while since I've seen a black stork. We have that glossy black coloration on their wings and a very white belly, as well as a very prominent red bill with the reddish legs. And when they're in their breeding plumage, they have a beautiful iridescence to their wings and they're black on their bodies. So very awesome to see these storks. They do generally nest in mountainous regions on cliffs. They are migrants and can be found in grassland areas and agricultural fields, also near rivers and lakes. Got a springbok also come in to visit down at the pan. He's giving himself a nice groom, this stork. So they generally, these black storks will breed in Europe and as well as parts of Asia, and they will migrate to these warmer regions in Africa and southern Asia for the winter. So really, really cool to imagine that these storks actually breed in Europe. So across the Mediterranean Sea. Amazing how they can fly for such long distances. So they will sometimes stop in West Africa on their migratory route from southern Africa. I have actually seen black storks stopping in Congo and Central African Republic during their migratory route. But again, they don't stop for very long overnight, have a rest, and the next day they continue on their route. And the flocks I've seen of these black storks migrating have been anything from probably 3 to 400 individuals, all flocking into one area for their overnight resting period while they're on their migratory route. Imagine some of these storks can travel thousands of kilometers to reach their winter grounds. Incredible flyers, very durable, lots of stamina for flying over such long distances. He might be one of the early storks. He probably didn't get the memo that the rest of the storks haven't quite left just yet. Oh, and we have a Corey bustard, folks. Another epic bird for our list for today. Probably coming down to also have a drink in the heat of this middle of the day here in Namibia. And Corey Bustard coming in at number 28 for our birding list today. We've so far broken our record from yesterday. And this is probably a female, and I say that because I know that a lot of the male Corey Bustards at the moment are in breeding plumage or kind of all fluffed up to impress the females. So awesome to see a Corey Bustard, the largest flying bird in the world. Oh, interesting way of drinking. They're obviously so tall, they need to go down onto their haunches in order to drink. They generally hang out in pairs, and they do feed on plant matter, large insects, and from time to time, small invertebrates. Two very cool big birds to add to our list for the day. It's got our springbok here, they're also roaming around, and our hempsbok. It seems to have been hanging around this pan most of the day, this oryx. So you can see that Corey busted his gula flapping. So birds, unlike us, unlike humans, are unable to actually sweat. So they need to cool themselves down mechanically. So what they'll do is they'll gula flap, whereby they kind of open their bill and flap their throat in order to cool themselves down. Another method of them cooling themselves down, obviously having a bit of a bird bath, standing with their wings open in the wind, and dust bathing. So these are all kind of mechanical methods that birds use to cool themselves down. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll see him having a drink again. I've never seen a Cory bustard drinking. It's pretty cool to see them sitting down like that for a drink. We've got a crow calling in the background there. So I know they do get pied crows and Cape crows in Namibia. So I'm going to guess by that sound it's making, it sounds like a Cape crow. Lots of Cape crows around in Namibia. Yeah, there we go. You can hear Cape crow calling. Also hear some buffalo weavers in the distance. Buffalo weavers make the massive nests in Namibia as well, the communal nests that they'll make, all nesting together in one huge big nest up in the acacia tree. Oop, there's our Cory Bustard's friend has come by to join for a drink. What a lovely view. Does not look like Namibia is going to be experiencing any rain anytime soon, though. Tembe was looking pretty hopeful for getting some rain, lots of cloud buildup, but yeah, Namibia's not much cloud there. Welcome to back to Juma, folks. I think we had some challenges with our camera, so we're here at Gowrie Dam. Big elephant bull coming down to enjoy the mud. I can't believe how dry Gowrie Dam is. There's not much water there. So Rosie Adams, thanks for the question. So yeah, storks will sometimes stand on one leg from time to time to give the other leg a rest or while sleeping. Also at night, I've seen storks using one leg too. It's also a way of reducing the heat that they absorb. So they'll kind of hide one leg to kind of rest, but also to reduce surface area that they are taking heat in. So yeah, it is a common practice for storks. Marcus Melke, yeah, very cool to see the woolly neck stork. I mean, black stork, I must say, and nice to know that you've also seen them in Germany breeding in the woods. You do find these black storks in open areas. In fact, when they come down into southern Africa, they do often come into big fields which have recently been mowed or cut, looking for any insects. So, yeah. Rosie Adams asking a question about the difference between a stork and a crane. So obviously, besides their breeding habits, they'll have got quite a big difference in size. So storks are a bit smaller than like your blue crane. They do also cranes generally only hang out in pairs, although you can get them in groups of up to six. But the storks for their migratory route will generally be in huge flocks, like I said, up to 400 I've once seen, or migrating. So cranes, depending on the species, might not migrate as far distances or might have more local kind of migratory patterns as opposed to the storks. So yeah, if you haven't seen a blue crane's mating dance, I would definitely recommend going and giving that a Google. Blue crane mating dance. It is very elaborate, and one of my favorite mating dances, probably of all birds. Check out this elephant. He's got a itchy ear there. Got some blacksmith plovers, and I wonder what's happened to our little terrapins over at Gowrie Dam. There used to be a lot of terrapin that used to hang out here. I'm sure the storks are also making the most of all of these dried up pans and watering holes, just like marabou. Marabou will come and hunt in these little pools and puddles for any leftover fish or frogs that they can get. It's a great place for all the storks to hunt. Oh, this elephant is having a great time. It's got very itchy ears, possibly from all the mud. Why don't we just have a bit of a quiet moment here, folks, to enjoy watching this elephant? Maybe we'll hear the splish and splashing of the mud and keep a listen out for any new birds that we might hear at Gowrie Dam. epic birds calling here, folks. So you can hear the wood cuckoo calling right now. African wood cuckoo. I also had some yellow-billed oxpeckers calling, and some cuckoos, which was really cool to hear. The Class's cuckoo and the Jacobin's cuckoo calling. I was a bit unsure if the Jacobin's cuckoo have arrived yet, but apparently the Jacobin's cuckoo are in South Africa at the moment, so they generally arrive in Africa between October to November, and that'll be their breeding season, and they generally leave in April. So those will be the pediatric migrants. Can be found in Africa and Asia. But yeah, pretty cool to see these here, the cuckoos. Another bird that I also heard was the emerald spotted wood dove, and we've got the Cape turtle dove calling now. So we're currently sitting at 35 bird species for the day, so that has broken our record from yesterday of 27. So really awesome to hear these birds. Elephant balls. Probably going to head off into a nice shady patch. Just rest up under the trees. Strange, sounds like some Egyptian geese are having a bit of a squabble. There's not much water left for those Egyptian geese to be hanging around. So, dry season is upon us, but Juma is looking quite nice and green. I think about a month and a half ago they did receive some quite drastic rain, so it's obviously changed everything nicely. So it's good to see that Juma is looking a bit green. I'm sure. Yep, the Egyptian geese don't want to be forgotten. Their name is on the list. The elephant is just bumbling, making his way to his next feeding spot. What's happening with these Egyptian geese? They definitely sound rather unhappy. Alright, folks. Let's head over to one of our other locations and see what's happening. Alright, so we're here at Kwa Martane over in Pilansberg, next to Pilansberg Nature Reserve, and we've got some helmeted guinea fowls, new bird for our list for the day, and a hammerkop also feeding, looking for his lunch. So that puts us at 36 birds for the day, which is rather exciting. Quite a cool bird count for today. We've had a lot of luck with our birding. I wonder if there's any mammals around, anything standing in the shade. Nice to see there is still some water in some of these smaller pans, and of course I'm surprised the elephants haven't finished off these reeds that are inside this pan here. It looks like perfect elephant food. We've got a little blacksmith plover also there. Sandpiper would be quite cool. We got a sandpiper, wood sandpiper yesterday at Tau Lodge. Oh, looks like we got some impala. Some distance there. Looks like there's a female impala just standing in the shade. Some more guinea fowls coming down for a midday drink. The Pretty cool to see crested guinea fowl. I think this is not quite the right habitat for them though, but I do love the plumed and crested guinea fowl. Very pretty birds, must say, but generally they do prefer a lot of thicker areas. They're not as water dependent as the helmeted guinea fowl, so yeah, I find it can be in quite remote arid areas away from water source. So very rare to see as well. Very shy, very skittish, the plumed or crested guinea fowl. So my favorite place to see crested guinea fowl, probably in South Africa, in Saint Lucia. You do get a lot of guinea fowl in KwaZulu Natal, crested guinea fowl. Very, very beautiful bird. If you have a look on your birding app, kind of has a bit of a Johnny Bravo hairstyle going for him. Bright red eye, and actually, as with a lot of the guinea fowl species, almost like a bald or naked neck. Yeah, very beautiful guinea fowl to see in the more forested regions. They do prefer forests and thick areas. They will forage on the ground for berries, seeds, and other plants. So it's quite similar in its diet as to the helmeted guinea fowl, but obviously it lacks the feathers and the crest which it has on its bone, as well as kind of a small casque on the back of its neck. So I'll play the call of the crested guinea fowl for you, and this call was recorded in KwaZulu Natal. I'm sure we all know the sound of the helmeted guinea fowl. Into Africa, it's a very fond African sound. Oop, got some impala there. Must be a herd of impala. Every now and then I see female impala popping out here and there. So probably feeding on whatever little succulents and a few kind of buds they are coming out from the trees at this time. Cool, we're just trying to get a bit of a closer look at these helmeted guinea fowls. I do love that blue coloration on their face. They've got quite cool blue colors, blue and red. And of course, that very prominent helmet on top of their head there. Oh, there we go. It's quite a large-bodied bird with a rather small head, slaty grey, and of course they have all those white little spots. Do like little baby helmeted guinea fowls. They are quite cute. They're these little brown blobs with little spots too. Very, very cute. Just having a scan to see what other wildlife is out there. Catherine, thanks for your comment about the vulturine guinea fowl. I am green with envy that you have seen the vulturine guinea fowl. It's definitely one of the birds on my list. I would love to see that guinea fowl. Very beautiful, but I do agree with you. Very beautiful, but can be quite ugly at the same time. guinea fowls down here by the water, just having a bit of a feed, as well as, yeah, maybe a drink if we're lucky. One of my favorite guinea fowls that I've seen, besides obviously the plumed and the crested, I have also seen the black guinea fowl, which occurs in West Africa. Very cool guinea fowl, kind of looks like a turkey, I would say, a bush turkey. It's jet black, the red head, and yeah, quite a large bodied bird, and a very prominent red coloration on the head. So, yeah, it's a very elusive bird that you'll find in the forests of West Africa. Um, if you're lucky, one day we can get to see them on safari. I've only ever seen them twice, and again, they're not the brightest of birds. Um, they do definitely stick out. When you see them, their first reaction is just to freeze. A lot of these birds in West Africa are so elusive, never seen human life before, so they don't quite know what to do when they do see humans. And as soon as they realize, oh my goodness, we're not sure what this is, and they take off in all different directions, flying into things, and yeah, seeming very confused. There's a beautiful view of these helmeted guinea fowls now. You can see the different colors of blue and teal, lilac, as well as that red coloration. So in the males, that helmet on the top of their crest there does get quite big, quite prominent. And of course, it will be a sign of sexual maturity in the males. Hardy does. Looks like he's having a good feed. So these guinea fowls, helmeted guinea fowls, are ground dwelling birds, although they can fly for very short bursts, but they do prefer to stay on the ground. They are pretty good runners. They can run up to 30 to 35 kilometers an hour or 20 to 22 miles per hour. Obviously, we're talking about the vocalization and the communication between each other. It's quite cool to see this hardy dar as well. It's got that bright red patch down his bill. That can also be a sign of sexual maturity in hardidars. So generally, most hardidars are pale brown color, but when they're sexually mature, the males do get quite a lovely iridescent color on their wings that can reflect purple, blue, green in color, and of course, they will become very bright red down their bill there. So, yeah, quite a cool indication of their maturity. So quite interesting about the helmeted guinea fowl as well. So they are omnivores and they do feed on mostly seeds, but from time to time they will actually also feed on insects, small reptiles, and even invertebrates. So they're quite good for the environment because they do help to remove ticks and pests from the understory or kind of from the grass. So yeah, quite a good pest control method having these guinea fowls around. Obviously very well known guinea fowls for dust bathing. So we were talking earlier about birds and mechanical methods of cooling themselves down, and dust bathing is one of those methods that birds use to cool themselves down. These hardidars are very famous for their long bills, and it is what helps them while probing in the soil while looking for food. And again, they are another good pest control agent. They do help to remove a lot of larvae and kind of scurrying beetles from your garden. So they can actually be quite a good creature to have around, a good bird to have around, remove all those parasites in the soil. They do build quite large, messy nests out of sticks in very tall trees. Generally, hardidars in monogamous pairs, and they do often mate for life. Some more guinea fowls. Actually, lots of guinea fowls in this area. It's quite a good indicator. Guinea fowls are a good indicator species of a healthy environment because guinea fowl need very thick understory in order to lay their eggs. They're ground nesting birds, and if they don't have enough thick areas to nest to keep their chicks safe, you can that's often an indicator of an unhealthy environment or that there's not enough understory within an environment. So a very good sign that this looks like a very healthy environment for these guinea fowls to live. Just having a scan to see what else is out there. Lovely acacia trees that look like they're flowering now. It attracts a lot of bird life, a lot of insects, and of course, giraffe love to feed on the flowers of an acacia tree. Just having a scan to see maybe we can find some last few birds before the end of the show. Keeping my eyes peeled. Oh, have a look. Our little blacksmith lapwing is having a swim. To see him in the edge of the water there. Oop, we've got a looks like a fork-tailed drongo has just dropped in on the branch on the tree that's in the water. Pretty cool bird. Another bird to add to our list. All right, so let's head back across to Tower Lodge, see what else is waiting for us. Alrighty. So it looks like since we were last year at Tower Lodge, we have got some, oops, still zebra down at the waterhole, some impala, and a nice big elephant bull that's come down to seek some fresh water. Seeing our crocodiles moving around a bit, and our grey heron hasn't moved at all. This grey heron must have a great life. It doesn't seem like he moves all that much. Probably has a very good food source. All right, so why don't we head over to King's Camp, another one of our locations, and see if there's anything waiting for us there. Hey, how awesome! Elephant pool party. Let's have a quiet moment, listen to all these elephants because it sounds pretty loud out there. I must say, these elephants at King's Camp, I think they're pretty camera shy because they often, as soon as we link across to them, they don't seem to spend much time here at the watering hole. It is rather rude of them just to leave so quickly. But yeah, it's not the first time. I've had a few times we've linked over to King's Camp to enjoy the elephants, and as soon as that camera, maybe they notice the camera moving, I'm not too sure, although they seem a little bit too busy to pay attention to the camera, but lovely to see these elephants having a pool party so close to the camera. You can really see the texture of their skin and really see them up close and personal. What a beautiful view that was of these elephants having a pool party. All right, folks. Well, I don't think these elephants are hanging around, unfortunately. So why don't we head back across to Tower Lodge, see maybe if we can get some last-minute action. Maybe the lions come out or something happens over at Tower Lodge. Looks like some more movement from our crocodile. He's surely has come out the water quite a bit there. Check at this guy. So we've got some birds also feeding around there. So we're at bird number 37 for the day. So we have broken my record from yesterday. If we could get 40 birds today, I'll be pretty chuffed. Trying to look and see what birds are kind of feeding around. Could be some house sparrows. This crocodile seems to be very alert and aware. What's going on with him? Just having a double check of what birds we have there. Could be some sparrows of some sort. It looks like female house sparrows, I'm going to guess. Just checking distribution. So again, while birding, it's always good if you're not too sure, always go into your app, double check the colorations all match up, as well as distribution. Could be a Cape Sparrow too, but no, it's yeah, let's have a look. So we're either between house sparrow or Cape Sparrow, I'm guessing. No, it looks a little bit too big for a Cape Sparrow, so I'm going to go with female house sparrows. If you have any suggestions, please feel free to send through, but I'm going to guess these female sparrows. Oh, our little three-banded plovers also coming maybe to groom the crocodile. Oh, sorry, help him, give him a bit of a dental grooming. So often you do see little three-banded plovers do sometimes come and pluck plaque outside of crocodile's teeth. Yep, he's off. Unusual creatures, crocodiles. Seeing them walking like that is pretty cool. And the little plover is following him. So yeah, it is quite common for little plovers to actually go and pick out any leftover scraps from the mouth of a crocodile, although I would be very cautious and very wary. Would not want to be eaten by a crocodile. You would definitely have to be quite a brave little plover if you want to groom or give dental services to a crocodile. I think he's running out of muddy patches, this poor crocodile, to lie in the water. So that's why he's coming out onto this open area. But he must be quite careful, I must say, because a herd of elephants comes along and doesn't see him. He could get trodden on. But he doesn't seem too worried now, does he? Yep, we've got some zebra fighting in the background there. There's a little three-banded plover friend. So I think there's actually two of them hanging around this pan at the moment. Oh, just so adorable. I must say, I do like little creatures. Can be overlooked quite often at a watering hole or a pan, but if you just keep looking at the water's edge, you'll often see these very cute little three-banded plovers. Very similar plover to this one is the Forbes plover, again occurring in West Africa. It can be very easily confused, but very similar appearance. So you can see we've got these two little three-banded plovers. We have our cattle egrets that are still kind of grooming themselves, as well as our hardy-dar ibises. They are picture perfect, I must say, and the reflection in the water right now, that would make for quite a stunning photo. So are quite common residents, these plovers. They do hang out in quite commonly at watering holes. Oop, and got our moorhen nestled into the grass there. Oop, what is that? Oh, it's another three-banded plover. Lots of three-banded plovers around today. So that's 3. Shucks, that's quite a high count for this small watering hole. Obviously, the kind of environmental conditions are perfect for them. Enough food. Lots of broken, scattered elephant dung, which also provides food for a lot of species. So once elephants come down to a watering hole like this, you'll get a lot of species coming and digging in the elephant dung, like guinea fowls, francolin. I've even seen fish feeding off of an elephant dung. I've seen palm nut vultures digging in elephant dung. So yeah, elephant dung does provide a lot of food to a lot of different species. Got our sparrows over there. Wildebeest also taking it easy for this afternoon. Be nice to see our red hartebeest. Maybe they'll pitch up for another drink. Baby zebra. Just having a last scan, seeing what else is out there. So we got a question from Rosie Adams about if I have ever seen flamingos in Kruger National Park. So no, I haven't quite seen flamingos in Kruger, but apparently the flamingos, the lesser and greater flamingo, have been recorded in Kruger National Park. So they could kind of be flying through Kruger while heading to their breeding grounds in Botswana down by the Shashe River, and they might kind of hang out at a few big watering holes on their way to Kruger. So yeah, pretty cool. Would be quite cool to see some flamingos in Kruger National Park. I know from time to time on the Zambezi River you do also get some flamingos as well as pelicans. The pink-backed pelican I've seen on the Zambezi River, but again, generally passing through while making their way to larger bodies of water. Moorhens here. Lots of wildebeest in the distance there. Dying to see what this area looks like, Madikwe looks like in the rainy season, I must say. In a couple of months from now, this landscape is going to be completely transformed and look completely different. It'll be quite interesting to see the change and transformation once the rains arrive. Whoop, we've got another crocodile down there. So far I think it looks like our 3 crocodiles are still here at Tau. It's generally 3 big crocodiles that do hang out in this area. Must be quite difficult for them to feed at this time though, I must say. See where the elephants have been dredging through the mud, trying to feed on the green vegetation in the middle of the pan. You can see all the elephant footprints and where animals have been moving through. Looks like our two yellow-billed ducks still busy grooming themselves. Oh, and we've got another bird for the day. Finally, we've managed to see our little wood sandpiper. I've been looking for him all day. We saw him yesterday. So coming in at bird number 39 is our wood sandpiper. Pretty epic. We've got some really cool birds for the day. Praying to get one last bird to make our number of 40, which will be a new Live at the Waterhole bird record for me. I think before 38, 35. I think about 35 was my previous record. Just having a last scan to see maybe we can find some more birds. Any more birds out there? Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with 39 birds for the day. Wildebeest don't seem very phased at all. Very chilled. Very chilled. There's our wood sandpiper, folks. Bird number 39. So excited to see him. What a day it has been. What a day. Quite delighted and happy with that number of birds for the day. Alrighty, folks. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. I will be with you same time, same place tomorrow. I hope you have a fabulous Tuesday. Please tune in to the live safaris on Sunset Safari. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.